Hello and welcome to A-Level Psychology. My name is Mrs Moon, I'm Head of Department.
Hi everyone, my name is Mr Simon, I'm a teacher in the Psychology Department.
Right, for those of you who don't know, what is psychology? It's the scientific study of the human mind and human behaviour. So what that basically means is we are interested in what makes us tick. Why do we behave the way we do?
Okay, so you'd like to know, I imagine, about what you can expect to do in A-Level Psychology and how you will be assessed. So A-Level Psychology, we have 3 papers, each of them are 2 hours long, and you will sit them all at the end of your second year. You must do each of the topics in turn, and it's a wide range of content.
Right, so you might be wondering, what am I going to be learning? Well, never mind what you're going to be learning. Think about all the questions that you're going to be answering. So questions like, what influences, why do we behave the way we do in terms of how does our memory work? Why do we forget? Why do we dream? Why do some people have OCD? How do we conduct psychological research? And we've got many, many more questions that will be answered should you take on this course.
Okay, so what to expect on this course? You will need to be able to have problem-solving skills because some of the problems and questions that psychology asks don't have simple answers, so you will have to be able to think through problems. Equally on that point, you will need to discuss with your partners. Sometimes you will have different opinions on whether or not the answers are correct. And lastly, also we have to be able to write long written answers. In psychology, we have essay-based questions where we have to discuss complex arguments, and we might be writing essays around 20 minutes, around a page and a half, so you will need some reading and writing skills. And lastly, and most importantly of all, is in psychology, nothing is certain, nothing is always clear-cut, so you have to have the skills of evaluation, looking at the strengths and the weaknesses of arguments to try and arrive at a fair conclusion based on the evidence.
Right, so talking about evidence, we just mentioned that psychology is a scientific study of human mind and human behaviour. So yeah, we actually carry out investigations and experimentation on human behaviour. And what we do is a lot of the research that we look at has been conducted, and we use that evidence in order to then make assumptions about human behaviour. So a classic one is our behaviour nature or nurture? So this is a case example of David Raymer, who was actually born a girl but brought up as a boy. You'll have to do the course to find out more.
Okay, we ask questions such as, which is more important for children? Is it the fact that their caregivers feed them, or is it the fact that their caregivers provide them with comfort? This is Harlow, who is a researcher, and he tested out this question with monkeys. He gave them 2 options, either a rough wire mother that fed them, or a soft cloth mother that didn't feed them. Where do you think the monkeys would have spent most of their time? You'll have to take the course to find out.
Right, here we go. A lot of people say, well, I make my own choices, but do we? Do we have free will or determinism? So according to Freud, who you might have come across, he believes that our behaviours are determined through the id, ego and superego. And then you've got Carl Rogers, who's a humanist psychologist who believes that actually we make our own choices. Again, I'm going to reiterate what Mr Simon said, you've got to do the course to find out more.
Okay, we also look at perception in the course, how the mind works. So participants in an experiment were asked which of the comparison lines, A, B or C, is the same length as the standard line. Now you might be screaming at the board A, but if you take the course, I will prove to you why most participants actually said B. Sometimes our perception changes depending on the social circumstances in which we find ourselves.
And Milgram. Oh gosh, you are going to get so used to this guy called Milgram. But he said we are nothing but puppets, controlled by the strings of society. Are we? Are you a puppet? Come and do the course.
Okay, so how might psychology link to the world of work? So first of all, often our students who take the course are fascinated and fall in love with the complex subject matter, and they might well go on to take it at university. They will do a degree in psychology, and this might open up for them careers working in psychology fields, such as forensic psychology, dealing with criminals, education psychology, helping children get the best opportunities in education. If psychology isn't the direct path that you take, it also has a wide range of transferable skills, as I mentioned earlier, which will open many avenues and doors for you with other career opportunities. So it's a wonderful subject in the sense that it is linked directly and indirectly to many career opportunities.
As for university, it's actually quite a popular course and a well-respected A-level suited to all degrees, so you don't have to go into do a degree in psychology. It actually lends itself well to other A-levels as well as other degree subjects as well. It's complementary to any maths or science career paths as well. And the skill that you develop, like Mr. Simon mentioned, like evaluation, problem solving, are absolutely crucial to any job role that you go into as well.
Okay, so for those who are become certain that psychology is what they'd like to do for a career, clinical psychologists work with people who have psychological conditions, try and help them live happier lives. Health psychologists help people who have been suffering from ill health, again, to live happier lives. Sports psychologists help sports persons to get the best performance. And also there are a range of jobs where psychological skills and training would be beneficial, such as counsellors, various types of therapists, and even detectives and inspectors in the police force, for example.
Enjoyed about psychology.
I've enjoyed the new various topics that we're learning about. I just find it really interesting, especially the teaching qualities from the school. It's just amazing, and I feel like I'm progressing as a person, learning about new things. So yeah, what do you find most interesting about psychology?
I really find the attachment and the psychology section really interesting because you learn about how the children form an attachment with their parents and how people have those mental disorders and how that affects their day-to-day life. Why do you think you should study psychology?
I think people should study psychology because it has a lot of real life application, especially if you want to do something towards it outside of main learning. You can learn a lot about people and their minds and their behaviours, and it's very interesting to take that skill further.